Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy freaking Saturday, everybody. Saturday, December 6th. Man, where is the year gone? 20th. Not that many days left till Christmas, 18 days. My goodness, my friends. Let's go ahead and take a look, see who the heck we have in the chat. Appreciate everyone coming out to today's show. Let's see who's out there. We got Anonymous Rex. April's here along with Brains. We got Christine Lynn. Daryl is here, but he's not in the back. But good to see you, Daryl. Digger Dogs are on along with Eliza Teal. We got Gene Sticko, Ghost Fixer, Grateful Bunnies in the chat, or Benny's in the chat. Gray Hair Discoveries is around along with J-Cat Meow, Jericho, Kathy, Kelly Burrell, and those piercing blue eyes is missing one more time. Hopefully she's all right. Let's see who else we have out there. We got Mr. Joey B. Ms. Cuss out. Neil Morgan's in the chat along with Rainstorm Hunter. I see Sam, Scooby Dooby Gooby. Shelly Montgomery, and the real Mr. X just popped up along with Rainstorm Hunter. Who else do we have out there? We've got the Chromosome Cowboy, Tony D, Treesaw TV, Two Midgets on a Horse, and Weedlander. How about that? Mike, how you doing, my friend?
Doing well, Thomas. We're going to have another interesting show, it seems like, for today.
Oh, yeah.
For our international audience.
Yeah, so remember, everybody, when you're watching Disclosure Tonight, the key word that we listen for is national security. When you hear the words, those key words, that means it's your turn to do a shot.
Yeah.
I think our audience would have gotten plastered after last night's conversation. Wasn't that interesting? If you haven't watched last night's show, we had a surprise visit from the whistling Mike guy. Very interesting, Mike.
Yeah, it was. And there's a lot more to tell with that story moving forward. So the audience will have some interesting things that are going to be coming up. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, before we go ahead and get to our top pieces tonight that we're going to be covering, we've got some in-depth analysis of some fast mover UFO videos that we're going to go ahead and take a look at, as long as I can find them. In the meantime, we got three videos we're going to go through. One, we've got Lou Elizondo over on Newsmax. Great conversation is going to come out of that one. We showed that at the end of I think Monday's show, so it's a recap on Saturday, so got to show that one again. We've got Maren von Rennenkamp over talking about disclosure on News Nation. And then lastly, we've got a real interesting video clip of Dr. Eric Davis and Com Kelleher. Back in the day when OSAP was still going, and they were dealing with some very interesting things. On that note, let's go ahead and jump across to these videos and get this party started. Let me open the first one. First off, we're going to start with Lou Elizondo over on Newsmax. Let's get to this. Bring it up. Pop it where it needs to go. Yeah, Mocha escaped today. Huskies are escape artists. And she got the door open, not sure exactly how. And she, as I was taking Moose out to go drop a doggy pile, she came racing out of the house, and it was Mike, you were listening. It sounded like a lot of fun of me chasing her around the fucking cul-de-sac for about 5-10 minutes.
It did. It was a lively event that nobody needed.
Yeah.
You didn't need it. She didn't need it. It didn't need to happen, but it did.
Yeah, we both had similar events today, my friend. Wow.
Yeah, one of those days today.
Oh, you better believe it. Why is your name not showing? Let me fix that as well. There it goes, disclosure. And come on, bring this around a little bit more. There we go. Let's go ahead and get this video. I think I got Lou up here. All right, move it down a little bit. This has to go bigger. How about that? That's why I've got the markers on the screens that I must not be paying attention to. All right, here we go, everybody. And no, it's not courtesy of James Fox. Let me get rid of that one. Here we go.
Yeah, I wonder, how does this documentary Age of Disclosure kind of address the societal impact of full disclosure, in terms of global security, and really whether people would just totally freak out knowing that life forms from outer space actually exist, or that we have this information that it might, and we're withholding it. I mean, is this like they're keeping it from us to protect us from ourselves? What's going on here?
Well, that was certainly the case in the past. We know that because there were several studies done that were commissioned by the U.S. government, and the results of those studies were very clear that it was the impression at the time that the American population, the American public writ large, would not be able to handle the truth, that it would be too incongruent, too inconsistent with the way they were raised, Americans were raised theologically and philosophically, and of course the idea of preeminence of a government, our government in particular, that has always been designed to find solutions and not basically bring up problems that it couldn't solve. So there are a lot of reasons in the past why the government did not want to have this conversation, but I think times have changed. And I think if you were to pulse the general public now, you'd realize, I think there's first of all a general acceptance, given if you look at the Drake equation and some of these other scientific equations that predict the likelihood of intelligent life in our solar system, in our universe, and in our Milky Way galaxy. I think the American public deserves to know the truth. I think it can handle the truth. I think it is prepared for the truth. One can just look every day on the headlines, and there's information coming out about these weird, quote unquote, drone incursions over sensitive military installations. There is a 3-Eye Atlas, this comet that seems to be behaving in very unusual ways, certainly outside the traditional scope of what a normal comet does. And I think there hasn't been panic. A lot of things that the government was worried about before and destabilizing our government and institutions and religions hasn't occurred. And so my perspective, I think people can handle the truth and should have the truth and let them decide for themselves.
Yeah, and like 3-Eye Comet and any of these UAPs, the government's response is always like, come on, that's debunked, nothing to see here, blah, blah, blah. But let me ask you this. Do you think President Trump and our former presidents know the truth about UFOs? I mean, have they been given access to these top secret information, or is the deep state kind of keeping it from them? I mean, if I were commander in chief, it's literally the first thing I would want to know after being sworn in.
Yeah, great questions. Well, first of all, I do think that it is a responsibility and incumbent upon any president, any elected official, to always tell the truth. The problem is a lot of these presidents haven't been told the truth. In fact, a lot of this information has been sequestered. And there's a part in this movie where Marco Rubio, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, then Senator Marco Rubio, says, look, there's a lot of things that happened that the president is not briefed on. And we know that to be true. Look, my program itself at the Pentagon was never briefed to the president until it was revealed in a 2017 news article by the New York Times front page story about my program. So the problem is, therein lies the issue, right? You have these extra governmental activities occurring. You have elements within the government that are not coordinating these operations and activities with other elements of the government. And I think there's a good argument there. If there are elements there that are operating in the black and not reporting to Congress, to the certain oversight committees, and not reporting to the president, that's a problem. That's a dysfunction within our government, and that needs to be fixed. And last but not least, I would never presume to speak on behalf of the President of the United States, but if I was in that position, I would definitely lean towards full disclosure to the American public of just how long we've been dealing with this problem and what insights perhaps we have learned. Therein lies another challenge, right? What you don't want to do is tip your hand to a foreign adversary that, yeah, not only are UFOs real, but we happen to maybe have gained some insight and exploit some of this technology for our own advancement. That becomes a very dangerous game when you start doing that.
So, Mike, back to the conversation where we keep on coming back to time and time again. A lot of people continue to say that we can't handle the truth about what's going on in our skies, and it sounds like Lou is not doubling down, tripling down at this point, that we can handle the truth. And it sounds like the people out there are ready for this based on a lot of the things that have been coming up in the news and science, etc.
I agree. And yeah, that's a very good point that he made. But at the same time, I also heard him backing up against national security. Everyone take a drink. That seems to be the issue, that he doesn't want to cross over that line. He doesn't want our foreign adversaries to know what we have and what we're doing. So we're always right back to that national security line. Isn't it,
Yeah,
Thomas?
national security definitely, Mike, does throw a wrench into it, because that means we're not going to be able to even admit we found a bolt or a little scrap of metal for this stuff, because that would be violating our national security, and we would have to, our enemies would know what we have.
That's right. Now, that is overlooking the obvious, and that is that whatever we have at this point, I think it would be safe to assume they have it as well. So we're not really going to reveal anything to them that they themselves don't already know. But that would then bypass national security if you took that approach, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Right.
Well, you know what?
They're not going to go there.
What's the old saying? Sometimes, Mike, you just need to rip the old Band-Aid off.
Oh, hell yeah. I believe firmly in catastrophic disclosure.
Yeah. Because it's the only way we're going to get there. What the government has had this locked up for over 80 years now, and it hasn't really gone anywhere.
Right. But what we would need is some individuals that have access to certain information that would find a way to make it public. Once that happens, we'll start to head towards catastrophic disclosure, I think.
Well, let's hope so, because it's the only way, disclosure is
going to come out.
It's the only way it's going to move forward in any kind of meaningful manner. Andy,
right.
Go ahead, Mike, then we'll call on Andy.
No, go right ahead, Andy. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah, that's what I'm sort of interested in, what you said there, Mike, about individuals finding a way to breach the secrets. Is there a way, or does the government have it so locked down that there is no way?
No, Andy, there's always a way if you have a mind to do that and you have friends that are able and willing to help you to achieve those goals. Anything is possible, but you have to have a group effort. You have to have people on board, and you have to have people that trust each other enough to be able to establish and make that a reality, which, depending on the individuals, is a distinct possibility in the near future.
Well,
Hopefully.
I would hope. I hope there are. Obviously, and I'm not saying whistling Mike last night, but you have individuals like him, and you have individuals like our friend Gene in the back here with us, who have information that fell into their laps, basically. I wonder how many people out there who, Whistling Mike and Gene have an idea of how to bring this out to a wider audience. Just imagine if there's other people out there who've got these things and they really don't know how to release them.
Well, in Gene's case, and I think Gene is a very good example of this, he had this information out of the Soviet Union literally fall in his lap. He then created a book, published it, and released the information for everybody in the public. So he's an exception to the rule for people who normally have access to this type of information, but are otherwise employed by the federal government. Their hands are kind of tied. Gene's case, that wasn't the circumstance. So he was able to come forward, and still is. But he's the exception to the rule. But if you have other enterprising people like Gene, who are willing and want to get the truth out, eventually it will come out. And as soon as it does, we will do everything in our power to expose that truth and make the public aware. That's what Thomas and I do here on the show. It'll happen.
Yeah. And it's something we'll be able to keep on discussing. It's not like they're going to go ahead and lock us up and throw us in jail for talking about the truth, Mike.
That's right. Or things that are already out there, that's out of their domain.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
All right. In our next video clip, folks, we have Merrick von Rennenkamp talking about the age of disclosure and talking about statements from Marco Rubio. This just came from a couple days ago over at our friends on News Nation. So let me go ahead and bring this next one up. Here we go, folks.
So why do you think what Rubio said is a big deal? Well, it's a big deal because he's alleging, and in the clip that you teed up there, he said that generals and admirals had come to Congress when he was the vice chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee and alleged that there are unreported secret UAP programs that even the president is not aware of. When you have flag officers, general officers coming in to Congress behind closed doors, essentially sneaking in to Congress to make these allegations, that's explosive. That is extraordinary. It deserves all of the attention that News Nation, that you have been putting onto it. What did just rub me a little bit the wrong way is that now, 2 years later, so Rubio made the exact same comments 2 years ago, when he was in Congress. Now he's the national security advisor, which is perhaps besides the president, perhaps the most powerful position from in the national security enterprise, which sits at the intersection of the intelligence community and the Pentagon. And he's still saying the same thing. He's not. He's not verifying. He's not debunking. He's not denying this. It's kind of there's a bit of a concern on my end that he was not able to, if this is such a big deal, and it is when generals and admirals come forward and make these claims, that he is not able to either say publicly what has been found or to debunk this.
Here's what he said, though, in that soundbite. This is the part that jumped out at me, and I want to get your take on this, because when you watch the documentary, and half the people in it are people I've had on this show and interviewed, and they're all saying this one thing, which is that presidents don't need to know, that presidents and highly elected members of the cabinet or high appointed members of the cabinet are deliberately kept out of the loop because of our election system. The president might be gone in 4 years. He'd definitely be gone in 8 years. And all of his cabinet goes with him. And they want to keep the circle of who knows so small and so tight that that's how it is that we have a president and a vice president who administration after administration is deliberately kept out of the loop.
Yeah, Elizabeth, and credit to Dan Farah and the Age of Disclosure, because he did capture Rubio explaining explicitly how that could happen. As extraordinary as what you just outlined may seem to us, Rubio explains a hypothetical where very much, the political appointees are viewed as quote unquote temporary help, and then the career officials, if you want to talk about a deep state, the career officials are the ones that retain the secret, if this is all true. I just want to also quickly echo what Mike Schellenberger said on your show last night, which is we're way beyond the point where President Trump needs to come out and clarify this, because J.D. Vance has made extraordinary comments about this topics, Marco Rubio, Tulsi Gabbard, John Radcliffe, the CIA director, and that applies to both sides of the aisle. Chuck Schumer, the leader of the Senate Democrats,
and don't remember Harry Reid was the one who really Exactly, a Democrat. It's one of the few issues, by the way, that has managed to unite both parties. We see, congressmen from very far ends of the other side of the aisle working very closely together on this issue. Do you think we're finally there?
We won't be there until the president steps to the microphone and makes an announcement. I do want to just quickly hit on the bipartisan element of this. That's extraordinary. First of all, this topic has united a deeply fractured and politicized Congress for starters. But that also makes me think that this is not some kind of psychological operation, right? What on earth would John Brennan and John Radcliffe, two of the president's, one of his biggest allies and one of his biggest detractors, they're saying the exact same thing. These folks, again, are miles apart politically, but they're all in lockstep on this. I find that extraordinary, and it is time. This confusion, all these conflicting narratives from the Pentagon that's denying this, and that you have all of this the shatter from the administration, folks and high-level folks. The president needs to come out and clarify just what is going on.
Let's hope so. Merrick von Rennenkampf, great to talk.
Interesting conversation yet again, Mike. We've got Merrick von Rennenkampf bringing up the, why potentially the executive branch is kept out of it. And as he even termed it, yes, it's in control. The UFO disclosure or the whole program is in control of by the deep state, which is these unelected bureaucrats that hold long-term positions in the government, including the executive branch. And it almost seems like They're running the country.
Well, during the last administration, we found out due to the auto pen, a lot of these unelected officials, they were actually running the government for a time.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah. So this is not a surprise or a shock, really, that you could have individuals like this within the government that are controlling things that are outside the purview of, let's say, the president. But I got to say, Marco Rubio is not just the Secretary of State, he's the National Security Advisor to the
And
president.
he also runs the National Archives.
Right. So he's a man wearing many hats within the government. But what's key about the National Security Council is that the NSA, the National Security Advisor, is like the hand of the king. He is a direct representative of the President of the United States and has most of the authority and abilities that the President himself has. So at that point, when you wear that hat, nothing should be secret. Not even need to know clearance or requirement. That's above. The National Security Advisor has access to that.
Right.
So he should be able to access any and all of the information that he has expressed publicly a very strong curiosity about. His current role would give him the means and the ability to find out what's really going on. But even if he did, that doesn't mean he could publicly talk about it. Let's say he found these programs and he knows what they're doing and what's going on. It doesn't mean he could hold a news conference and have a press briefing and talk about all that.
Who, Marco?
He'd have to remain
or
silent.
the president?
Yeah, Marco Rubio.
Well,
Marco Rubio.
you got to remember as well, Marco's tune has changed since he became part of the executive branch. He was demanding, he said in the past, that the Biden administration knows exactly what's going on. They could release that information. We want the information about the stuff that was shot down over Dead Horse, Alaska, then over the Yukon, then coming down to Maelstrom. Eventually, the last one was shot down over Lake Huron. They could release all the information about that and everything that they know about UFOs, right?
Including the fucking drones, the drone flap that we
The
covered.
drone flap and everything. He said they could, well, they didn't, he wasn't talking about the drones back then. This is back at the time when we had the UFOs going on.
I'm just saying that he should have access to the information.
He should have access to that as well. But his statements before, specifically about breaking out the truth about UFOs, when he was Senator Marco Rubio from Florida, right? He has changed his tune since then, because now he's in a higher position. He understands what's going on. He's probably been told what he can and can't talk about, and more importantly, what's going to happen to him if he does talk about it.
And I pointed out to you the other day that he started using quotes directly coming from Arrow, which is a bad sign. Well, I have no independent verification. He never talked like that before. He's using that language now because it sounds to me like there are things that he just can't talk about publicly.
Of course.
That's how he addresses it.
And he may have the information. And one of the other reasons that they say they don't tell the president about some of this stuff, what is it, plausible deniability?
It is plausible deniability, correct.
Yeah.
Yep. But Marco Rubio, he's not the president. So if he was to get some of this information out, it still would give plausible deniability to the president himself.
Yeah.
If they wanted to go that route. I'm just
If they
saying.
wanted to go that route, yes. Yes, sir.
They could. They absolutely could.
Yeah.
But I don't think they do, because I don't believe that the current administration is moving towards disclosure at this time.
Well, we've heard signs that it potentially is. We haven't heard we haven't heard word that it isn't. You know, we did get clear word from our external sources at first that the Biden administration was pro-disclosure, things were moving along, but then it changed. And as it changed, we got confirmation back through our channels of what was going on behind the scenes.
Right. We knew that during the Biden administration, Jake Sullivan, who at that time was the National Security Advisor to President Biden, was investigating through back channels in the government any of these programs.
Well, he had set up an initial program to go ahead and do investigations of what happened specifically with the, with the UFOs we shot down a couple of years ago. And
we also knew that he was sitting in skiffs and getting access to information for this investigation he was doing on behalf of the president. But then, if you remember, after that had completed in 2 years, the president ordered that investigation that he was conducting to be completely shut down. We never heard anything after that, and it went away like it never happened. That we knew about too, and we covered that.
Yeah.
So it was looking like it was heading towards a disclosure. Something changed. Yeah. They found something out they did not want the public to know, and then they did a 180-degree turn on it. And we saw that. And it may be similar to what we're seeing now. I hope that's not the case, but it could be.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of those things, Mike, you know the way it should be. It doesn't happen, almost like Skip to Maluski.
Yeah, but also said, what is it that they could have possibly have found out that would make them not want to reveal it to the public? Nothing good, obviously, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, right. If it was such a wonderful news and thing was going to move forward so great, we'd have all these different technologies, It would be better to pass them on to YouTube, because one of our viewers watching the show that we have ads turned off from during the show, and I could click the button to insert an ad, and I don't, for a main reason. We don't want it during the live show. Dating commercial popped up on my screen, block the chat. I'm not a lesbian, YouTube.
There we go. No, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if they wanted actual disclosure, they could provide it. And we don't know what this administration is going to end up doing at the end of it.
We don't know if they're going to go one way or the other. But what do we usually tell everybody? Don't get your hopes up, or down for that matter. Stay neutral. If something happens, you celebrate. If not, you don't get let down if the stuff doesn't happen, like the passing of the NDAA for 3 fucking years in a row, or them to actually go ahead and implement what was passed in the NDAA for disclosure, which they never have. Right. Parts of it, but it's turned into more of a control group than anything.
Right. And also, if they did get access to disclosure from within the government, and they discovered that it was not anything the public would be happy about to hear, they would also probably hit the brakes and not want to give anything more to the public than they already have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could be. Nothing good.
Yep. Now, I do have another clip here, Mike. This is a short 1-minute clip coming from Dan Farah. Let me go ahead and throw on the fair use on this one. Let's go ahead and jump across and see what Dan has to say here. All right, here we go.
That this film reveals so much that has been deeply hidden for 80 years. It is a conversation changer. There's no way to put the genie back in the bottle, as they say. I've been getting messages from senior senators and people that are involved in the administration all weekend saying basically the door's just been blown open and the government doesn't have any choice but to walk through it in some regard. I think it's only a matter of time before we see a sitting president step to the microphone and tell the world we're not alone in the universe and that the U.S. intends to lead the way in this new chapter for humanity. I think that is going to happen as a result of this movie. The only question is when. I don't think we're too far off from that point.
Well, Mike, that's not the first time we've heard that one. We've heard that in the past behind the scenes as well, and it's also been said in public that it's also in public that, the only thing we're going to get coming out of our government is an acknowledgement. No more.
Right.
No more. Right. They're not going to wheel out the dead bodies. They're not going to show us the crashed craft. They're not going to talk about the technology that we've figured out and advanced humanity. No. It's an acknowledgement. Leave it at that and move on. We'll see where it goes.
We already got that acknowledgement. It came from former President Barack Obama. when he was out of office.
Well, all he had said, there are things in the sky that we don't know what they are. This would come down to say, yes, we know what these things are, and take it from there.
Well, we're back to the bolt theory then, aren't we? If they tried to admit knowledge of any of this, even something like a bolt, that would open the door for an avalanche of information.
Yeah, that's why I said they're not going to talk about any of the advances they have. They're not going to talk about anything except make the acknowledgement, maybe say we're looking into it, but that's it, nothing more. There's going to be no say, hey, we got bodies, hey, we got biologics, hey, we got craft, hey, look at all this technology we've got that we've given to these different companies. None of that is it's not on the buffet.
Well, look, let me play devil's advocate for a second. There has never been, so far to date, a sitting United States president that came to the microphone and said there are things in our skies that move in ways beyond anything we're capable of, and we don't know what they are. That would also be a first. So I have a feeling that if somebody wants to come forward and commit without really committing, that would be the way for them to go, like Barack Obama did.
Yeah.
It lets them off the hook, but it doesn't commit them to anything, and they don't have to answer any questions. I have a feeling we might get something similar to that from this president, like we got from former President Barack Obama, if it goes in that direction. That's what I'm saying. And they would be right to do that.
Yeah, and someone in the chat says we have a right to photographs. We actually have no right to photographs.
Nothing.
No right. Understand the laws, my friend. We can think we have all these different great rights, and trust me, Daryl, I've watched so many great videos of people who get pulled over by police. They say, this is my right, you can't do this, right? However,
do it anyway.
the cops are acting completely within the scope of the law. It's just the people who are going through this are not aware of the law. They think they are, but the reality is, like this, we don't have any right to photographs. Now, should this fact be kept from this chapter of humanity? I don't think so.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think this issue in itself is far bigger than any law or country or government. I think it's a world issue that everybody in the world has a right to know.
Yeah.
And them suppressing and hiding this information kind of falls into the category of, let's say the government one day said, well, the moon and the stars, they're now classified. Well, you can't do that because they didn't create it. So they don't have a right to classify it. I have a feeling that applies to this issue with the NHI and the UAPs here on Earth as well. They don't have a right to classify that.
Here's the next one. Proof of aliens that wasn't it. Proof of aliens does not do it. There was a different one he had up here. Okay, here we go. We have a right to photographs. No, we don't.
No,
because those photographs could show a type of craft that our enemies may not be aware of. And not
methods and sources.
If we show that particular craft, it could inspire our enemies. And that's the biggest thing. After the first UAPTF hearing, the next day, under the direction of Ronald Moultrie, or even before that, Jay Stratton, for Scott Bray, Jay Stratton, who was the head of the UAPTF at that time, was instructed, and he wrote enhanced classification guides to go ahead and clamp down any and all information with regards to the UAP UFO topic, and not just that any and all information for FOIA requests for the entirety of the federal government
goes through Susan Gore.
Bingo.
Yep. Yeah, that was a real fast one he pulled by doing that.
Yeah.
And they've been following it to the T since then.
Oh yeah. It's been going on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So in our next,
let me remind the audience real quick, dear friend Susan Gore. She's been a sitting member of the government for 16 years, over 4 administrations on both sides of the aisle. Yet that woman is still in that fucking office doing that same fucking job the entire time. You really got to ask yourself at that point, what the hell does she know that scares the hell out of all those administrations? and they won't budge her. They won't move her. They won't change her position. They won't retire her. No, she's there holding the whip tight and hard. It goes to show you. There's more there than meets the eye. Oh, no, please don't do that.
Oh, we got it. I found her finally. No. Oh, yeah. There we go.
So,
yeah. Susan, well, she's got the face, and my God, if she's tugging onto it like it's a whip, which is worse, that or cutting it off?
Oh, in her case, I go with the cutting off.
Oh, my God, yeah.
If I had a choice, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, you inspired me. We got it back. Well, along those lines, since we've had a palate cleanser. Yeah, okay, let's finish this off. I got distracted. Everything with you, everything, any request for anything about UFOs goes through the beautiful Miss Susan Goff. Everything. If I'm going to the Department of Agriculture, if I'm going to the Department of Education, if I'm going to any government agency, even USAID for that point, back in the day, all the requests had to go through Susan. And they still do.
Yep. That hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Well, I'll reach out to the Department of Energy. Maybe they'll get, hey, why am I looking at this woman? Let me reach out to the Department of Education. Maybe, again, I have to deal with this woman. Why is that? That's also something that hasn't been done in the government before either.
Yeah.
It's just not a good sign, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, it's kind of obvious. That's not a beautiful sign either. But no, I'm sorry. She is a beauty, you know?
To someone somewhere.
Yeah, she's a beauty.
Not here.
Hey, she could even be a mother.
No, she's a mother, all right. Not the one you're thinking of.
All right. On that note, enough bashing on Susan Goff, that wonderful person who we all admire so much. We love you, Susan. Absolutely. I used to say, hello, Susan, because we figured she was. We were told in the past she used to watch this show, so back in the day. So let's have some fun with this. Our next video coming up. Yes, I've got that one. One more before we get to the good one, the video review. I've got Dan Farah here. Wait, we already played Dan Farah, right? We covered Dan Farah. We covered that one. We covered that one. All three of those are gone. All right.
As far as Dan Farah, him saying to the public that his documentary, that film, is going to finally give us the disclosure we've been waiting 80 years for. I just have to call bullshit on that.
Yeah.
It isn't. It really isn't. We've all seen that video, his documentary by now. It isn't going to change one damn thing over what's been going on the past 80 years. Yeah. Even Marco Rubio said recently that the statements that he made in that documentary, they weren't his own. He was just repeating what he heard second and third party from other individuals. So even he's backing away from his role in that film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to point that out to the audience.
Well, it's a good thing to point out, my friend.
I think so.
Yeah.
Goes to show you what's really going on.
Yeah. In between, we've got some stuff to talk about in the UK. We'll get to some more UFO stuff in a second. I've got too many things to cover. The first thing I want to go ahead and cover of what's going on with the attack on freedom of speech going on in the United Kingdom. This one will just blow your mind, folks. It blew mine when I saw it. Here we go. Let's get to it. This is coming from, Peter Lloyd. Good luck, my friend. This is Judge Tracy Lord Clark. She sentenced David Morgan to 20 months in prison, Mike, for ex-posts. She previously gave a rapist a supervision order and allowed a pedophile to go free because of prison overcrowding. This is the kind of bullshit and the attack on free speech that's going on in the United Kingdom right now. It's crazy. And I know a lot of our friends in the United Kingdom can't talk about it because if they do, well, they can talk about potentially the things that are going on, not just what they're saying, that potentially getting there, I think, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's a sad situation. Yeah. Not sure what's going on over there. Now, something else. It sounds like they've canceled elections. The UK is canceling elections of people again.
That can't be.
It's a mayoral. These are not large scale. What they're trying to so-called they're trying to devolve the government out to the local areas. So they've devolved Wales. The country of Wales has its own government.
So they got local elections that are probably for like the councils and such that have been canceled.
Basically, we've had one here. They're making these super mayors. I guess you have mayors in America in your cities.
But we have mayors and we have city councils that go along with it.
Yeah. So what they're doing is they're creating. We've got one in the area that I live in that is supposedly like a super mayor that is supposed to bring in funds for the area that they cover. One of the things they're actually doing is so-called they're changing the way that local government is run. So it's more like, rather than it being in Washington, it would go to your state. Obviously, each state would run their own state. The powers that be in your states. And they're on about devolving it, but unfortunately, what they're saying is actually that we have to get this all right and get it in order. So what we're going to do, we're going to delay the elections for whether it be a mayoral election or for local councillors until I think they've delayed some already, but I believe they're supposed to actually occur next year. And then the ones that they're delaying at the moment will be, I think, 2 years. But whether you believe that's actually the genuine reason or not is a lot of my English friends here.
And jury trials. This is going for all the different people who are being prosecuted for social media crimes. There's no juries.
Not just. There's a massive backlog in juries. I've done jury service. It's a lot of waiting around. Basically, when I did it, I was off work for about a week. And how they do it here, you go in and they get a massive, we'll say 100 people, and then they will call however many they need up for a jury. Now, you could sit on that jury. It might be a half a day. There's a lot of waiting around. There's a massive backlog.
Yeah.
So, this is the reason they're given for removing the right to jury. So it'll actually be a judge.
Rather than expanding the system to handle the backlog, they're just basically giving the judges the full power. It's no longer the power of the people to decide. It's the judiciary, which sounds like a dictatorship.
Yeah, if you want to say that, potentially you could think of it as that. We're supposed to be. We've got the Magna Carta here in the UK. We're supposed to be the bastion of legality and everything that the vast majority of free countries look up to. Well, it's not looking like it at the moment.
No, it's not. Even now, I guess well over 1 million people have signed petitions calling on King Charles to dissolve Parliament and call a general election. Do you think there's any hope on that, or I don't think it's a lost cause with Charles?
For personal, no, none whatsoever, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he is the king, but
it's only a ceremonial post. Really, nowadays.
Maybe we're understanding why it took him so long to become king.
Well,
mother knew best.
Fact is, his mother lived until she did. He's not got very many years. I think he's 72,
and he's got uncurable cancer that's rapidly advancing.
Yeah. So
hopefully there's luck with William.
Potentially with William, he seems to have a lot more in common than his predecessors with the ordinary man. He's actually he's served in the military. He's actually done an actual job. He was a pilot during the Gulf, Iraq and all that. Afghanistan. He actually became an air ambulance pilot. So he actually has done a day job. So, you know, I think he's the closest rule to ordinary people. Now, what will happen when he takes, you know, when he becomes king? I honestly don't know. You know, is it going to be like with your American presidents? You know, say one thing, but actually when they gain the power.
Yeah. Well, we just got rid of one of those. We've got one who actually does what they say they're going to do for the majority of it. We'll see where it goes. Hopefully.
Yeah. You know, wait and see. You know, elections. You know, I can't see that the present government can hold off. You know, we've got another 3.5 years for elections. If it lasts that long. Who knows? Yeah.
Just an interesting post that kind of awakened me to this on December 4th, just a couple days ago, was from Elon Musk saying, we're showing a list of dictators who abolish jury trials. We've got, you know, going from 1917, we got Lenin, Mussolini, Hitler, Franco, Zedong, Castro, Pol Pot, Saddam Hussein, Muammar Gaddafi, Ayatollah Khomeini, Hugo Chavez, and now we've got Keir Starmer. What a wonderful list, Mike, for him to be on. He must feel really accomplished of himself.
Not in a good way, Thomas.
I know.
Not something I would be proud of.
Oh, I know. Let me go ahead and get back to this here. Yeah, okay. We're done with that part. It was something I promised that I'm going to cover to some of my friends that we're going to go ahead and cover on the mind-blowing stuff that's going on in the United Kingdom right now. It's absolutely crazy. On that note, I've got an interesting compilation video here that I want to go through with Jay. Jay, are you with us?
I'm here.
All right. So this is a compilation video that's got a bunch of what we call fast movers in, kind of like the one we were seeing last night. So let me go ahead.
Like
the rods and stuff, and exactly.
Okay.
So let me blow that up a little bit here. There we go. All right. So the first one we've got going on here, I'm not sure exactly where this one is at, but let's just go through this one. It's out over the ocean somewhere. And as we go through it, we're going to see one of those fast movers, something that's in the sky that's moving so fast you can't see it with the human eye.
That's extremely fast.
Yeah, so we'll go back on. I can go back on that one again, go in reverse. You can see as it jumps from location to location. That's why some of the stuff that I'm seeing a lot of the videos, Jay, when it's this nice smooth motion of the UFO moving to our frame rate, and you don't see them skipping at all, moving along, and it's just a smooth motion. They're going too slow.
Somebody told me something about this before. I believe it was Dr. Andrew Morgan. He told me that the skipping is almost like they're skipping in and out of like off of like some kind of wave that they're riding.
Oh, what do I got here?
Like some kind of gravitational wave that they're riding, and they're hitting all the peaks.
So I'm going to go ahead and fold up this piece of paper here really quick. See if I can remember how Lou did this.
Like they're skipping across water, kind of like time, skipping across time.
Mm-hmm.
Really neat, though. Wow.
Oh yeah. Let me go. I'm doing my kind of a piece here. Almost there. It takes a second to do all this folding. I wasn't prepared, but I figured, what the hell? We got to show this off to a degree, and this is the best way to show it, because this is how Luke kind of showed it. So if we have a UFO, right, that's starting... Well, that didn't help. And I thought I had a marker that worked. Okay, pen. This should work. A UFO right here, right?
Yeah.
That UFO travels in a straight line over time, right? To that point. Yeah. And let me go ahead and just make this
ripple motion
a bit thicker. And it continues off, right?
Yep.
And we see it moving in our time. What you're actually seeing is that where it's skipping from place to place to place to place. It's not actually traveling there, but it's skipping through time and space to get to the destination it's going for. So we may see it like, you know, it's one way, you know, as it's going through the sky. This is how it sees it. It's moving from this point to this point. But as you expand it, this is what we see with our eyes or our cameras.
That's exactly right, Thomas. It's almost it's you throw a rock across the pond and watch it skip across it, and that's exactly what it looks like to me. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Skipping across time and space, moving at a speed that we can't see. And that's just not an artifact of how they move. It's on purpose, so we don't know what's going on in our skies. And this is the kind of stuff we're talking about today. So let's get beyond this one.
It's so high speed that there's no possible way your human eye would be able to pick that up but the high speed camera. So
correct.
Wow. Yeah,
so
good.
Here's another one. This is a cam over a city.
Ooh. That one's kind of a fluid motion almost, not really skipping that much. But yes, it is, but it's still like, wow. It's more fluid motion, but yeah, it does have the skipping.
Yeah, it does.
Wow.
And that's why they call these things fast movers, because they're moving so fast. And a lot of the fast movers that we're seeing are long, as we're seeing it stretched, and thin. Now, people could say that's just from the exposure of it moving. Usually when these things are moving along and you capture them in space where they're at, the image doesn't stretch out, because this isn't something where it's taking long exposure pictures. These are just regular shots that are coming off a camera.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Thomas.
So let's move on to our... They're going to play this one here. They've got it zoomed in now. There we go.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, yeah.
And this came from the UFO doctor over on X. He does great work. Okay, come on. We've seen that enough times. That's zooming it across. Give us an example. And we've got one from last night that we're going to go ahead and show. Here's another one. At a beach.
Oh, there you go.
Now, look at the back tires.
Yeah.
They're spinning and they're throwing up the sand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and this thing, it's moving at a regular speed, but based on an inch or so that truck moves, and it's not moving slow. It's throwing up and getting some traction, but for an couple inches of movement, look how much distance we're seeing in the sky.
Like 50 to 100 feet.
Yeah.
At a time. Maybe more. Could be more. Could be like 200 feet, but it's a lot. It's a lot of space in between for those movements.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's in California, July 1st, 2021.
That's a good one, too. Yeah, just having that extra detail with it makes it a lot better when you're looking at it, because then you have something to compare it to. You know, the motion of the truck going as fast as it can out of the sand, and you judge that.
And also look at the wheels. Are the wheels blurring at all? If it was a long exposure, the wheels would be blurring as well, but they're not.
Exactly.
Crystal clear.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other one, that one I believe is going in between the clouds because it's dark. It's a darker color, and the other one was lighter. It's like the sunshine was hitting it or something, making it a lighter object.
Well, look in the back. This is going on in the back of the object. I didn't even see this one. It's going from here to here, to there to there.
Oh wait, there's double. Is that a duplicate? That is a duplicate right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
To that location, and then it's gone. Well, there it is. Oh, it's going through the clouds.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Well, it's not an insect then, is it?
Reference, though. I like that with these videos. Like most of the time people sit there and they zoom in and they're like, oh my God, I got a great video. And they spend like 3 minutes on this object zoomed in. And you're like, you give me nothing to go off of. No trees, no definition, no nothing else.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, I'm getting a message in. The information we're looking at is classified. Yeah, so much for national security, folks. So let's continue on. It goes through the clouds. I need to have the Susan Goff button. Kind of like Donald Trump has the button to get his Diet Coke brought into the office. I need to rig that up somewhere. I think I can.
Oh, God.
Yes, I'm going to do that. That'll be real easy. All right, so let's go on. There it goes back into the distance.
Another duplicate a little bit at the end, but yeah.
But that's the end of the video where it just kind of ends there. So here's the next one. This is in Italy, Capaccio, Italy, August 21st, 2023. Now, this isn't that far from Malta. Relatively speaking, the size of the Earth. And that's where we've got those fast movers that are going about 14,000 miles an hour that were interacting with with jet fighters from the United Kingdom, the Red Arrows, at the Malta International Air Show in 2021. So let's continue on. Let's see what we've got going here. They're walking relatively slow as the camera's moving. And whoa, what was that? Hold on.
Wow. That was fast.
Oh, yeah. So let's zoom it out. Let's just let it play it.
Watch his steps. Watch how many steps he takes when it goes through. One, not even a half a step. Like he's barely moving his 1 foot.
Yep. It's midstream. His foot is coming down. It's appeared there. It's jumped to there. Wow, this one is booking.
Yeah.
It's not booking. It looks like it's actually skipping.
Oh, yeah.
This one is definitely skipping. Definitely.
And then it's gone. Went into the clouds or something. But wow, that is just...
Looks like it's evenly spaced, too, between the time it disappears and reappears.
The skips.
Yep.
Yeah. But you know what, though? Yeah. It's also going farther away, it looks like. Because on the very far left, look at it there. Mm-hmm. The length and size of it, and look at it there.
Oh, it's going away. Okay, yeah, it's at an angle. Yeah.
And it's probably going off into the cloud cover. There it is there a little bit more. And then it's half there, and it's absolutely gone.
Yeah, the skipping is usually an indication of it moving through time. Right, Thomas?
Either that, yes, that, and also it's speed, Mike. That's the biggest clip. And, you know, if they had these cameras at 240 frames per second, you would probably see more shots of the actual object closer together. It's just a limitation right now of the way the camera is set up and how many frames per second they're capturing.
That's true. It's skipping because it's jumping faster through the frames.
It's moving so fast. It's going from playing, when the camera gets done here, then it goes to do it again. That time in between, it moves. Yeah. Andy?
Distance,
yeah. Andy, your hand is up.
Yeah, and again, it's moving so fast. You need to remember, everybody, that those people who are being filmed there, they wouldn't have even seen that.
No.
That's beyond the frame rate that our eyes actually pick up things.
I think we can see stuff maybe up to a couple thousand miles per hour. That's about it. Anything that's well beyond that is beyond our visual perception. And by the way, folks, we put a lot of time into the show every day to find the material and to take you all through it and interact with everybody. We'd love to have you. You know, our stats show us that only half of our people who are watching are actually subscribed. So if you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love to have you here as a regular disclosure tonight. More importantly, if you haven't given us a thumbs up, we'd love it, friends. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, also Thomas as well. Yeah, I just want to say, you know, I was at an air show once. They had the British Tornado fighter plane come along, and it came along the runway, but very few feet above the ground. This was a swing wing aircraft. It had its wings swept back. It was going it was going at its top speed, and even that, with you know, it was there and gone. You could see it, but it was a blur. You know, so. You know, that is with human, you know, with our eyes, something that's traveling. It was below the speed of sound, so it didn't break the sound barrier. but still, it was really, really difficult to actually watch this thing go by.
Right.
You barely could turn your head fast enough to actually, with something like this, there's no way on earth with our eyes you're going to see it. There's also, if it's not breaking a sound barrier, if it's making no noise, you're going to be totally oblivious to it going past.
Right.
So you obviously were, Andy. It didn't make a sound.
Yeah.
This one is difficult to see. All right, this is another one that I saw when
it would be a lot better to see, if I could pull in anonymous here, if we had a hyperspectral camera.
Yeah. That would potentially help us see stuff.
And high-speed camera, 2,000 frames a second.
Well, even if you have stuff at 120 frames a second or 240 frames a second, which any iPhone made in the last several years, you'd be able to capture all that. Granted, you'd be doing a lot of footage at high speed, but you'd actually be able to capture it in fidelity. We've seen a lot of shots that have been done with those types of cameras. Now, if you had something in that high frames, you're going to be talking big equipment, lots of money, lots of heat for it to generate that. Very specialized equipment.
Hyperspectral is like you're taking different spectrums of light, and then you're comparing the images all together into one image.
Yeah. What I'd also like to see as well is the camera showing temperature sensitivity for thermal down to negative 60 degrees Celsius. That would be the kicker. That's the stuff that shows us.
Tedesco brothers are doing something like that, right?
Are they? No, this stuff about the negative 60 degrees Celsius, that's been, the first person to kind of jump into this was David Mason, who was part of the original UAPX.
Yeah, but they were doing the research as well with recording that. Yep.
So they got cameras. They've got the $12,000 FLIR cam. They can go.
I believe so.
Cool.
I believe they do on their rig.
Oh, nice. Looks like an old school video camera, with the pop-up eyepiece in the back and everything. Well, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
We got a couple super chats that came in from members of our audience. One, Shelley Montgomery, DT is a place to be. Thank you very much, Shelley. We appreciate your love and support for what we do here on Disclosure tonight. Who else do we have? One came in from Laura Campbell. Thank you very much, Laura. Thanks for all you do. Thank you for your support for what we do here at Disclosure tonight. We try to do our best. All right, so let's go ahead and take that down. Let's maybe make this a little bit larger for audience. I probably should have been doing that, but I didn't. But here, let's go on to this next one we've got. This is a golfer who is going to do his swing. So he's got a high-speed camera going, right?
Yeah.
Because he wants to get the full motion of his swing when he goes through it. And when he's not even moving yet.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. You can see you see what I mean about when you've got something at a higher frame rate? You get the object popping a lot closer because it's going so freaking fast.
Yeah, exactly. And even with this this high frame rate, capture camera, you're still, seeing it skip across.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't even moved yet.
Yep. Andy, jump in.
Yeah, going on about this with the high frame rate. I know there's several people on YouTube who do with these really ridiculously high frame rate cameras. Unfortunately, they're very, very expensive.
Yeah.
You would need something like one of these that are taken. I think they're up to ridiculous amount of frames per second.
I know, but this is 120 frames a second, which is equivalent either 120 or 240. That's equivalent to the frame rate that we saw the videos I have recorded from Malta. So
yeah, you need an awful lot. You need one of these digital and with computers going through to AI or whatever to scrub the information off these things. These cameras, there's so much information that you need to recover.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way you're ever going to catch these things clearly.
Yeah.
And these cameras are way out of practically everybody's. And I see Anonymous in the back nodding in agreement. They're way out of the range of your average person.
Yeah. But again, iPhones, Android phones, high-speed cameras. For the most part.
Hey, Tom, yes, sir. Jump in real quick. On that last video, it looked like the UAP was actually inchworming it across.
That it could be. I see. Like it's almost spinning or something. It's either that or almost look at it. If the object is here, this is where it was, and this is where it's going to. It's almost blurring it, and this could be just a result of the. Well, there you go. There it is. There.
It's like an inchworm, like going above. Like here's where I need to go, then the back, then the front, then the back, then the front, then the back, then the front.
Or something oblong.
Yeah.
That's spinning. That as it turns, it gets longer, it gets shorter, it gets longer, it gets shorter. Right?
You could be doing that too. Yeah.
Better
From the
here.
direction you're looking
This iPhone could probably help you get there. Longer, shorter, longer, shorter.
Yep.
That would give you that same kind of a look going on it potentially.
A rotating motion, yeah, definitely, 100%. That's why I was looking at that. I'm like, it looks like an inchworm, and then.
Yeah, really good catch, Jay.
Oh, thanks.
I like how your eyes work. See, over here, I was seeing, okay, could that be a compression issue because we have this other object that's going to be getting near? But no, it was going on well before and well after that object. All right, so the next one we've got, I think I've seen this one before as well. I've seen the majority of these before. This is another one where we've got this little thing here that's going to kind of go and do some. Now it's coming towards. This is a different one. This one's off in the distance, right? Let's zoom in on it a bit, because I'm sure they will be doing this soon. Going across. Makes a turn.
That's definitely an orb.
And then it comes, let's call it a sphere.
Or sphere. Yeah, spherical.
Yes, spherical. The word orb has gotten really dirty lately.
That is true. Yeah.
So let's call these. No, wait. No, it is orbs. We are supposed to call them orbs, not the Booga sphere. It's the Booga orb. So yes, it's an orb. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, that's a great capture too.
Yeah.
Real great capture, especially when it comes at the camera.
Yep.
And again, you have trees to look at. You have background to look at. You have something to. Go off of other than just the object. I like these videos.
Well, absolutely. And I like the video last night we're going to be getting to shortly again as well. Let's move ahead. They're gonna go through this one a bit more. They're zooming it in. Yep. They're zooming in from that point.
I'm looking at the trees on the bottom that move too at the bottom when it goes through.
Yep.
The tops of the trees.
I don't remember where this one is from, but I know I've seen this one before. Where you got this.
It's a little zoomed out, or.
Well, yeah, we can zoom out of this one.
There it is.
There it is on the left side of the screen, right over here.
Whoa.
Hello. Who are you?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I know I've seen this one years ago.
Wow, that's a really good one.
Again, reminds us of the craft we looked at last night. We'll be bringing that up next.
Yeah, and it's got a glowing like aura around it,
In some frames. Now, that could be a lot of these things, depending on the direction it's moving in, right? Whether it's toward, away from, parallel to the observer, you're going to see a difference in light that could be potentially wrapping from one side around to the other, helping illuminate it.
Yeah.
So that's why 100%. As it's going and changing its orientation relative to the observer, we're getting it to darken up, brighten up, darken up again.
Be coming in and out of clouds as well, too.
Yeah, it could be.
We're not. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly. Well, yeah. Good capture.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
Let's move on from this one. New York 2024.
you know, these are the ones I'm talking about here. You know, you have like the whole sky, but you have nothing to like base your viewpoint on. You know what I mean?
Right.
No trees.
Well, there's
no
constellations
background.
up there somewhere. Where the hell did I go? There it is, up at the top.
Okay, you could use those three, possibly those three, the constellation, if you could find that. Yeah.
Right. I'm just looking to see, is there any motion of the clouds at all? Going through that one a little bit there, maybe, but there's no movement of the clouds.
Not really any movement of the clouds at all.
Let me put that right, my tip of my mouse right on there.
Yeah, I didn't see any movement.
Hold on. Let me just zoom in really quick here.
Mm.
Is this actually moving? No, it's not. Let's just go back.
Okay.
Yeah, the clouds are moving. Really slow. You can see it moving there to there. So the clouds are moving. So depending on the exposure, this is at night. If it is a fast-moving object like this, it could potentially, because it's a nighttime exposure, be stretched out. I've seen more than enough pictures of things at night that when it's a bright light and the camera has motion or the thing has motion, you get that trail behind it. So this one itself may just be the artifact of the extended exposure that's required to shoot the sky at night. Does that make sense?
It could very well be. It could very well, but you need a longer exposure time at night, depending on darkness, I believe, to get the better picture, right?
Right.
Am I correct on that?
Correct, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think, now I've got some orbs. I want to get past these. I wanted to stick with the fast movers if I could. Nope. Okay, so let's bring that down. Now, one of the things I want to bring up is the video that we had again last night, Jay. I think I've got those in downloads. Go to QuickTime. Let me see. And the reason we've been watching all of these is in recent. Let me find this 4K. That's not the wrong one. That's the wrong one. File, open recent, almost there, folks. I got it.
Well, while he's finding that, I'll put my mic on mute. Andy, you wanted to talk?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to bring up about this one last night. I noticed when this image that you're bringing up now, Thomas, when you stopped it at a certain point, the coloration of whatever the hell this is, it was red on top and white on the bottom, but you were talking about the nubs that were on it, these lumps or whatever they are. They were actually opposed. So you had red on the top, white on the bottom of the body of this object, but at the same time, the nubs were white on the top and red on the bottom, which I found really interesting. I doubt you'll be able to stop it.
Well, of course I can stop it there. But if I want to do that, let me just go ahead and get I've got the 1080p version. Where did I just put the 4K version? It's got to be here somewhere. 4K night. Okay, we've got this one here. Let me go ahead and shrink it down a little bit. You're talking about it when it's up close?
Yeah. Wherever you get to the right point that I noticed it, but yeah, you stopped it, a perfect image of it, and it was literally opposed. So you can see it.
But here you got one here. You've got one there. You got one. Oh, I see. Me opposed, kind of. So it's.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got it there, and the it's now going into that the nubs are actually going to be red on the bottom, if I remember right.
There's a bit of a glow of red on the, there, as it's getting closer, you're seeing more of that, a bit of a red shift on the bottom. Now they're still looking white, but there is some kind of red illumination that's going around the actual part of the craft that goes along with the nubs itself.
Yeah, whether you're seconds ahead on the actual main show, but there, as it's coming to the chimney or whatever's on the house there, you can sort of see it's a reddish hue, but on the bottom, but on the top, those nubs are actually white, so it's completely opposed to the object. Right. I don't know whether that means anything or I just picked up on it last night.
Right. I've got this in the wrong kind of a codec that my machine doesn't like. It's not hardware accelerated, so I've got to re-encode this down to something that's better so I can skip through these frames a bit better. But as it's farther in the distance, we're seeing just more of white on the bottom, red on the top. Here we're starting to see, as it's getting closer, the nubs that are on the bottom and the top. And what we're saying is, as you're looking at these, they're going from left to right. You've got one on the bottom, one on the top, one on the bottom, one on the top, and it's like they're on a treadmill, and they're moving, from one side to the other.
You can see it definitely on the image I'm viewing here now on the main show thing. The nub that was at the back was red. Now, whether these things are rotating around the craft or what, it kind of looks like for want of a better word, like a caterpillar track. That's
right. All right. Quick question we've got coming from Scooby Dooby Gooby in the audience. Really quick on answer this one and just clarify it. What does a time lapse of traffic look like? That's a plane. No. If this was a time lapse, right? Where you're getting this is a time lapse, but you're talking about something with long exposures, right? Kind of like I've got, let's get to here. You can't see it there. Dang it.
Can I jump in on that?
No.
Yeah, from
shit.
Just
one second. Let me just finish, Andy, really quick. You can get back to it. You see this effect here that's going back in the actuals right here? You've got all the lines. Those are actually the tail lights of cars driving down the road this way. Here you've got the steady look going from headlights coming the opposite way. Put myself back to there. Now let me get back to where we were just at here. If that was a longer exposure, we wouldn't even see these nubs. You would see a solid red line. You would see a white line here and a white line there because they're moving along. And for the most part, you would see a stretch out of all those colors.
Also, as well, last night we were talking. You were talking about the smoke that was coming from from the chimneys. It's you can see the smoke actually rising like it would be normally. So that's no time lapse.
No, this is a time lapse. It is a time lapse that someone shot. This guy is a GoPro nut. He's had the GoPro since GoPro Run 1. He's done a bunch of different videos with the GoPro, and he's also done a bunch of different time lapse around January 21st, 2021, when he actually shot this video. So this is just, this isn't coming.
Chat, I have that vehicle thing for you, the time lapse, the little HTPP one, not the big one, the little one underneath.
In chat, you put
that
it.
Shows you time lapses of vehicles on a highway.
1 second. The second one or the first one?
Second one, the little one.
I can't tell. It's just a link.
Oh, well, whichever one's smaller.
Give me a second.
One. Yeah, that shows you the time lapse of what it would look like on highways, looking at vehicles passing on a highway going,
okay. That's just a picture. Got it. It's not actually even a.
That one.
There you go.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That's what you would see if it's a time lapse, just the stretched out stuff going here. But here we're not seeing that. We're actually seeing the actual, the colors that are going on. But more importantly, we're seeing It doesn't let me go backwards, damn it. There we go. We're seeing those little nubs moving, and they're jumping from place to place.
Yes, that's very, very strange with the time lapse like this. Either that, or they're moving extremely fast around the object, and they're not nubs. They're circular balls that are attached to the rod.
But they're actually moving. And we're seeing we're seeing the pattern shift along it. Yeah.
The balls are moving around a circle around the rod as the rod's moving forward.
Right. Now let me go ahead and just put this on loop, because the thing that's interesting about this even more is it actually starts back here. You see it shooting across. It goes over to here, over to the overall side of this. Do I have it here big enough? You can't see it. Let me get to this here. Go to video full frame. Here we go. Well, it's not courtesy of James Fox. Come on. Here we go. Actually, it's over here. Okay. So it's going to start shooting across the screen here. You're going to see it shoot up this way, and then it's coming back, which is indicating this thing is on some kind of a grid search pattern. And this is shot at night. It's not during the daytime. You can see some stars are out, but it's also a full moon. So
yeah. Just watch the chimneys on the right. I love that. Boom, they both turn on.
So I want to go ahead and slow this down to about half speed.
Yeah.
Is that right? Playback speed, half. Shoot along the top. There it goes. Shoots down to here, goes across to here, and then it comes right back.
And both those chimneys turn on.
And he has the entire night that he's got out there on his time lapse. This is just something that was 35 seconds into his video that he had no idea what he had actually captured at first. And this is why it's always important to go out there and look at what you've actually captured.
Yeah, definitely, Thomas. You need to, like, if anytime you go out and videotape the sky or anything, go through your video meticulously, because you never know what you're going to capture, especially with like something that goes extremely fast like this is moving.
And if it was a plane, you'd see more of a plane shape. You'd see the defined tail. You'd see the overall shape of the plane. You'd see the shape of the wings.
There's no way that's a plane. No way at all that's a plane.
No, this isn't a plane with flashing lights, because flashing lights would actually be, if you want to call it, an inconsistent place every single time on the length of it, right? Consistent
pattern too. Consistent place pattern. They're not. They don't have white on top, red on the bottom.
Right.
I mean, it's not like that. It's FAA regulations, and whatever it is, I think it's red on the wings, and like, I'm not sure exactly.
Right. Because one of the things even brought up last night is we even see an interaction going with the steam coming off the buildings.
Yes. That was a good catch, Thomas, right there. When it goes through the steam interact, or it shows the interaction of the object going through it.
Yeah. Trust me, if this was a jet, we'd happily call it a jet for that matter.
Yeah.
If it was a plane or anything else.
Show me wing structure. Like it's a rod. Right.
Just like all the other ones we had seen that were fast movers, this just happens to be in someone's backyard in North Virginia Beach, Virginia. That a guy who's into GoPros and doing time-lapse videos caught this flying over his house.
Yeah.
So that's why we're, taking a look on something. No, there is no red tail fin.
No, it's always red. It's staying red. It's not blinking.
There's no blinking.
It's completely red.
And if it was something, if these were blinking lights in every frame, those white objects would be at the same position in the object at every time. I don't think I've ever seen a plane that has running lights that move down it when you're flying.
No, Thomas. Like I said, the lights are in a specific position, specific light pattern, blinking at certain, seconds apart, and it's red and it's white and, exactly whatever else FAA regulations are.
Yeah. Well, some people are going to see for what it is. Some people, if they want to think it's something else, that's all we can do is try to show those who are interested to understand what's going on to go ahead and actually share it.
Educate the public, Thomas. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
You educate it with what you know, and you let them take it from there and do their own research.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yes. Absolutely. Well, great conversation so far. I got to figure out where the heck we're going to go next. Now, you would send something across, right, Jay?
Yeah, Google Drive folder with about 11 or 12 videos in it with from Nigel. He was on my podcast. We were going over fast movers as well and orbs that he had saw in Ontario, Canada.
All right. Get to it. Give me a second.
Yeah, it was really neat. The guy went through a huge upset in his life. He had lost pretty much everything, and then pretty much the phenomenon hit him in the face and said, "We're here," and he started taping them outside and then listening to them, and evidently it's been working, and he's getting great captures. Every day on X he's posting, and it's really good videos.
Yeah, excellent. So I'm preparing a download. It's preparing the download. We'll give it a second. And just, I guess if you could pick from all those different videos, pick out the best one you like to see first.
Would have to say it would be the orb that is moving across.
I know, but
sky,
what's the file name?
File name. Let me see here.
Okay, it's still downloading. It's got about 10 seconds left, and we'll be able to get.
I'll look at my drive right now. The 555 at the end.
Got it.
See if I can find. Yeah, I think that one's it. The orb.
So we've got that one. Let's bring this one up. So talk us through. Is this looks like we're not looking at the top of a pyramid or is something. We're looking at a guy looking over his house, right?
Yes, that's the top of his house right now.
All right. So and this goes on for 1:06.
Appears to be only maybe 400 or 500 feet above ground.
Now, one thing I want to point out, when someone's recording something at a distance and they're moving, it makes the object appear at different times to be moving in different directions and to be being stationary.
That's true.
And now what we're seeing is we're seeing him walking along with it from the start and shifting the camera to where we're seeing this stuff now.
Activity picked up in the sky, I'm going to say within minutes of being out here tonight.
So what is this thing doing that makes it unique?
Just give it 1 second, Tom.
All right. Okay.
You'll see it in a second here. Now he's trying to follow it, right? Look, it's going real fast. Oh, no, back the other way. No, back the other way. You see that? It starts shifting from left to right to left to right. It's like, nope, you can't capture me. I was looking at it too at the beginning. I was like, okay, this is a normal thing going across, and then it just
watch this here.
Yeah.
The tree coming up.
Yeah.
As it moves this way, that is moving that way, right?
Yeah.
Now, as it stops moving, right? I'm going back in frame from frame. The object now also stops moving.
Yep.
As the object starts to go to the left, we're seeing a little bit of a motion here, potentially going to the left there. But then as he
move the camera.
As he moves the camera to the left and down, we're seeing the object accelerate, moving to the left and down.
Yes.
And here, as the camera starts moving back to the right again, the object starts moving to the right. And he's now panning the camera up, so it appears that the camera is that object is also moving up.
See if I can.
So there it is, backing to the original direction of where it was at, and then we've got the stuff going and moving again. You can see as he moved it fast, we see the thing stretching out.
Yep. Yeah, he's capturing these all the time. Like
I know.
There's a couple in there that have triangles that he's capturing above his house, orbs.
Yeah, but again,
31 and 25, the first two.
As you're seeing it dive down here, the camera starts moving up. So that's part of the issue. This thing's farther in the distance, and as you make little adjustments to your camera and what you're doing, you're going to see this thing zigzagging around, kind of like what we're seeing.
We told him that as well on the podcast that we had, that while he's doing this, he has to have a tripod when he's recording these things. That way he doesn't have motion in the camera.
And then here, it starts to look like it's going up again, but this stuff here is starting to move down, so it looks like it's going up.
Yep, I got you. Yeah, he's got other ones too. He's got like the Phoenix Lights kind of thing, like the first two videos in there are pretty cool.
Parallax effect. Yes, I used to make 2D video games. I'm very used to looking at parallax and debugging issues with parallax. So
I could see that, and that's what we also told him too. If he takes other videos like this, he has to have a tripod. He has to have a stable tripod when he's taking these videos as well.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, the first two are showing orbs above his house and like triangle patterns.
So yeah, maybe take this camera and turn it horizontal.
Oh, I've already told him that too. I freaking hate these vertical.
Yeah. Depending on the object and what you're trying to record, it could be good or it could be bad. Because when you have it vertical, guess what you get in that picture? Things you can relate to. Because if he just had that as horizontal and you didn't see the trees or the roof in there or anything.
Yeah, that's very true. You might not notice that he didn't have a tripod.
Yep. Kyle, your hand is up, my friend.
When it passes the first branch, you've got a little bit of wind movement.
Yeah, but a lot of the other stuff that we're going, you can see majority of the movement that's happening, Kyle, is all a result of him manipulating the camera, tilting it up, turning it down, turning it to the left, turning it to the right, and you're seeing the change in the movement of that object that reflects, and you can see the movement on it that gets there. There may be one little point, there is a little bit of movement on the branch, but overall, I would call this something that is potentially prosaic, and we need to see better footage from something that's like Jay's been saying, that's on a tripod, because otherwise there's just too many movements of the camera that actually disguise the actual movements of what we're looking at.
It's not a big movement, but it doesn't look like it affects that object at all.
Well, at that one spot, all the other spots it does. When it starts going back and forth and everything, you may be getting some movement of the stuff at the very tops of it, but you can see as he goes ahead and takes the camera, the camera's moving to the right. The camera moved down a little bit, or moved up a little bit. Now the camera, he's taking the camera, moving to left, And the
when
object
it sits there, and then it sits there for a moment, and then it crosses past
right,
the branch.
but when it sits there for a moment, his camera isn't moving for a moment. That's the difference. You're seeing the movement based on the actual movement of the camera. I'll leave a question mark on this one. But I'm kind of...
You need better evidence.
You need better evidence, exactly. Because otherwise we're taking every particular thing out there and saying, oh my God, look, it's a UFO. No, folks, there's a lot of... What do they usually say? 9 out of 10 sightings that go on out there are prosaic in nature?
And we went over this video as well on the podcast and told him it would be way better tripod, this, that, like, and he's explained that to us as well. You know, he's one individual that is going out there by himself with like not a lot of equipment. I said, well, tripod is the first
$20
thing you need.
$20, maybe $30, maybe 40, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's the first thing you need if you're going out.
Right. Exactly.
But the other ones are neat too. He has orbs and like triangular objects that are over his house.
Pick one. Which one has a triangular object?
The first two that are in the file.
All right, we got one of 43 megabytes in size. Let's go to us. Do we know what kind of device is he recording on?
This is here. I can tell you right now.
Looks like a phone.
Yes. Let me get it here.
And a relatively old one at that.
These are... I don't have the exact phone, but I know it is a phone that he is recording it on.
Right. And here we've got something that looks like a potential chevron shape, but we're not seeing hard edges, meaning that if something is in a formation, in a tight formation, it's going to be moving along in uniformity going. You're not going to see waving stuff going on.
No, it's not. It's definitely not one object. It's multiple. There you go. There's a good one.
What time of year, and are there any migratory birds in the area?
This, I can tell you right now when this was, because I have, actually it's in the folder, Thomas, if you want to look, there's a picture in the folder that says description file. That's a description of every single one in there.
All right. I was letting you drive. I was driving, letting you... All right. There's no file names.
Oh,
he just says 12-second video, 18-second video, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so no. It's,
to be, yeah, well, I mean, it says May 9th, 2022, 10:09 p.m.
I know, but the files, all the files we have. Okay, so it's May, what date? What day in May?
Triangle, this is May 9th, 2022 at 10:09 p.m.
Jesus. Okay. Triangle appearing as 5 orbs. Well, it's 5 orbs potentially in the shape of a triangle.
Yeah. It's in the shape of a triangle. I won't say it is a triangle because, like you said, it would be a solid triangle, not moving as a, it would be a triangle shape.
And because the CCD on his phone is not picking the stuff up, or because he's zoomed in so much and he's moving the camera around wildly, you're losing a lot of detail.
Yes, exactly.
My only other red flag is he's recording new videos every single night.
Yeah, I have seen that. It is a red flag, but there is people that are connected with the phenomenon. You just have to, you take it one day at a time and you see if they're, like Chris Bledsoe said, you see if they're a load of crap or if they're the real deal. And I think, Chris Bledsoe's the real deal, So if he's like a Chris Bledsoe, well, maybe we should investigate a little further, get him some better, equipment out there.
Or if things are going on every single night, should be able to bring someone out there and they'll see something with them.
Exactly, and I've actually talked to him about going up there, and I might actually be going up there. Probably not in the next month, but maybe about a month and a half, 2 months. I'll be going up there to actually see that location for my own eyes. So maybe maybe when I'm up there, we can have another show.
Oh yeah, that would be good. Now I need to get to.
We can put them right on the screen. Hey, anybody want to see orbs? Here they are.
Right.
If it's real.
Oh, not this
If
one.
it's not, hey, I'm up there. I'll tell you. It's a load of crap.
No, I don't want this one. I don't want this one. Now I've got another video that Tim had shared with me from a place up in Moon Lake. Now, I think Tim is in the back, but he's afraid to come on camera or say anything for whatever reason. So he was out with Tom King, and they were recording this. And I think, was it 5 seconds in, Tim? If you don't want to say anything, at least put it in the chat and tell me how many seconds in I need to go in here to look.
So you jump to 1 minute, roughly.
1 minute. Hey, you're there. Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew I could flush you out of the lair.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm happy to walk you through it.
So we're 1 minute in. Dang it. Minute 14. And what I want to do, 40, 50, 78, 58, 59, a minute. Okay. I'll put this up a little bit higher because otherwise my fat heads. Actually, let me just go ahead and just take myself out of this. Here we go.
Yeah, and you see me at some point kind of point to the mountains.
Yep.
Kind of trying to orient the people around me to let them know where I'm focused. And then a couple beats go by and I start to track something.
So there you are pointing. It should be.
Yeah, if you're able to pump the brightness up also.
I will in a second. I just want to. There you go. Okay. You're pointing. Out there. And what were you pointing at? Is that it?
I was just pointing at the mountain range that I was lining my cameras up at so that the camera crew knew what I was doing and that Tom next to me.
Let me just go ahead and play this back at full speed because I can see it again. And I can zoom into it.
Right above those, there's 3 mountains. So definitely turn that down.
I'm trying to get even on this.
All right, you hear now? There's like a flashing. Thank you.
I thought you said turn up the volume before on this one, so we could hear you talking. But there it is.
You can. It's just there's a lot of exclamations that.
Oh, that's okay.
Are unnecessary.
So there it comes. All right. So we'll play it through once. Excellent. Let me just see where we're at specifically time wise. We're a minute 18 in. So we're going to see an object coming in from the left side here, and it's going to go in and do some interesting things here. So let's watch it. And this is at 30 frames a second, right?
Correct.
Whole thing going along. Going along. Did we lose it already? Let's go ahead back to 118.
And so I do track it.
It goes down, and then it feels like it goes up, like almost straight up then, doesn't it?
Correct. And then a few beats go by, and then there's that flash.
Find this right where I got to click. Wait a second. Okay, continue there for a second. Interesting. So, what do you think this could be, Tim? What are the possibilities?
Right. And so some of what I had initially thought, and I even exclaim, that I think it's a meteorite. And as soon as it leaves the atmosphere and I see that flash, then my mind immediately changes.
So here's the flash you're talking about. Let me get back a little bit.
And so, we checked all of our data analysis around us that we had on hand. It all cleared. And then over the next few months, we sent this off to psionics, and they cleared it as being something anomalous. And then we checked with the Global Meteor Network, and we wanted to make sure this wasn't a meteorite, and 0 were reported.
Right.
In the area.
Now,
So,
since we talked about this, have you had a chance to reach back out to psionics again to ask them about what kind of effect could be causing this? Because what it looks like is the camera is struggling to make V-blank, and because that vertical blank, that basically means as it's trying to draw the screen, it has to do once every cycle. And if something skips a cycle for some reason, for whatever reason, you would see where the image is drawn on half of the frame here, and then on the second, here we go. That's the first frame, and that's the second frame. So is this an effect of the hardware, and potentially what could cause the hardware to affect like that? Could, if the whole horizon was illuminated for one frame, could that be enough to slow it down to where it's going to give you this kind of a visual effect?
Right. And so Monday, I'll just make a phone call.
Yeah. So the question from the audience is, did you saw the flash, right?
Yeah. So through the camera.
Yeah. And you weren't using a tripod?
Crew, I believe the camera crew also.
Yeah. So is this recorded? Is this recorded on other media as well?
So we do have Lumex IR camera footage, and so that would be a matter of sorting through that. Tom and I actually went through the files together.
Lumex, that's Panasonic, right?
Great question.
Yeah,
I don't know who's.
Yeah, Lumex cameras are Panasonic. It sounds like maybe it's a 35 millimeter camera that's been modified.
Potentially. So that would be a Tom King question. The camera I was operating to shoot this was the Psionics Pro.
Right.
So it comes with all of the GPS and tons of data, tells you exactly which direction I'm looking.
Right.
Made it really helpful when it came to geolocating whether this was a meteorite.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did everything we could to exclude the mundane, and we were left with a big gray area here.
Yeah, because it could be a it could be a bolite, and it could be something else.
Sure. And so I love that, and we looked into that. There's something, called an Earth grazer, and meteorites do this, where our atmosphere literally repels a meteorite,
or sometimes they'll actually. Or sometimes they'll also go ahead and skip as well. They'll skip, or they'll pull up again.
Absolutely, it's just incredibly rare for it to happen. A, and then B, the footage is also incredibly rare. Now, if you are into it, you can totally do a Google search on what Earth grazers look like and what bolides look like, and it just doesn't match, right? And also the flash after, that can offer up a couple other little details, because that actually lit the whole sky up. You kind of see it there just lighting the mountains up, kind of almost as if it hit the ground. This definitely went up. It wasn't questionable whether it went up or not. You can clearly see it.
So it sounds like I'm more the doubting Thomas today than you usually are.
Oh, no. So this is just yes to everything that you're hypothetically saying. This could be, I'm down.
Exactly.
It could be a bolide. I just did everything to make sure that it wasn't something that, the trackers were aware of, right?
Yeah.
So it goes into a gray box. I don't know what this is. Now, if you're into it, you can actually zoom into this and freeze frame on one of the brighter frames. It offers up a little more information, but again, I don't know what this is. And Tom,
there's
King
so
has
much
some
noise
footage
from
somewhere.
compression on this that
Right.
it's hard. And this is the latest from Luna Optics
This is Psionics. No,
or
it's not
Psionics.
the
I mean, this is the latest from Psionics.
no.
Interesting.
No, this is not the latest. This is their pro version that they had at the time. It's a handheld. Now they have the option.
Gotcha.
Which
Well,
is
I got you. I've got the
binocular,
Pro
yeah.
here as well back from the time we got those unrefurbished at one time.
Yeah, so I mean, it is kind of an interesting thing in the speed that it moves across.
Now we
And the
see it
fact
turn
that-
red momentarily, but that's not the true color of red because everything we're seeing from the Psionics is being colorized, right?
100% correct.
So for some reason, though, at that point, the signal changed. It saw something different.
Yeah, but we can't infer any information to the color that it's
No, exactly. That's what I'm trying to come
Yeah.
across. And here it gets bright again. It seems like it's getting brighter, darker, brighter, darker, brighter, dark. It's almost like it's,
Could be something that is, I doubt it's emanating from the object. I think it's probably something atmospheric in between me and the object where it's just struggling to, pick up on it. I don't think, like, it could be expressing something incredible, but we're not going to glean it from this video, unfortunately.
right. It's moving really fast. We don't have the best optics for something. We've got something to show. Yeah, there's something up there in the sky. Very interesting, Tim. I'm glad you reminded
it's a
us to
fun
go ahead
piece
and
of
share
video.
this today.
Yeah, it's fun stuff.
Yeah. All right. Mike, how you doing, my friend?
Doing well. This has been some real interesting videos you've been showing.
Oh, yeah. When there's not a lot of stuff going on, yeah, there's still a bunch of stuff going on. It just depends on what we want to get ahead in coverage. But yeah, we had some updated news about what's going on with Disclosure potentially, and some digging into some of the sightings and some of the facts that are out there. And everyone says, oh, I always say everything's a UFO. We don't.
No.
We have a high level of discern for the most part. You have to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we've called a lot of shit out that wasn't anything near being a UFO. So
Yeah.
it's good because when we actually find something that is anomalous, we're able to point that out as well.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like we've been doing. Yeah.
Oh, definitely, my friend.
Those are good videos. I like them.
Yeah, and I think, let's see if there's anything else here. There may be a couple things maybe I missed. Let's just take a look over on the boards, over on X, and just take a look at my bookmarks and figure out what the hell did I forget about. Almost there. I think we got about everything, but there may be something pressing that I put up there that I haven't gotten out yet. So let's get to that. Let me go to my bookmarks. Let's see where we're at. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Something I missed, very important. I should have covered this at the start of the show. It's at the top of my bookmarks. God damn it. Yes, there was a full Halo CME being launched towards Earth today, an M8 flare. Appears to be swift. Should arrive in 3 days. Hopefully we'll get a couple more of these flares going in escalating size. We'll see what's going on, affecting any more planes, give us an Aurora Borealis, maybe take out a power system or two. You never know where it's going to go. Yes, but that's coming from someone who's part of the weather and Aurora community. Meanwhile, Michael Bradbury is from Mr. BB333 is showing fear porn, saying the blast came from an Earth facing, meaning the energy is headed our way. Aurora, GPS, and geomagnetic activity could spike. It's not that bad, folks. Trust me, it's not that bad. You
don't have to go run and hide in a
Yeah.
cave somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing's gotta remember, what the fuck are these handbags about? Well, they're in, in South America, they've got like these beaked creatures. In parts of Ecuador, they actually look like lizards. Down in and Mesopotamia. Then if you get down to ancient Sumeria, it was dudes carrying it, all in the same pose, all holding that. What the hell were the handbags they were carrying, and what's up with those pine cones?
Well, you can't leave home without your toilet paper, Thomas.
Oh, that's true. And your bag to carry it, because it's rumored that the president even poops in a bag wherever he goes. He doesn't want to leave anything behind as evidence.
Oh, that's a real lovely thought.
Oh yeah. Hey, but look at this. It looks like they may have a cure, folks, for male pattern baldness. Yes, there's a new trial. There's out there in phase 3 trial results showing clascoterone, 5% solution, showing highly promising outcomes as the treatment delivered a 539% increase over the placebo. So whatever company makes this, it could be a good investment.
But why are they showing us a picture of a bald man and telling us how good it works?
Gets the point across, I guess. Well, earlier this week, a couple days ago, yes, it's been confirmed that France confirmed they had 5 drones were detected over Mellon, the submarine base that holds the country's nuclear deterrent. This is home of the France's SSBN fleet. So look at that. They're actually going ahead, Mike. There's UFOs potentially coming over their nuclear base, and they've probably been coming over there, for at least the last 80 years, or let's call it 50 years, however long they've had the nuke base there. But they're actually trying to shoot them down.
Yes, they are, finally.
They've learned.
Yep.
They found their balls. Wait a minute.
Fucking time.
Wait a minute. I thought the French never fire a weapon, because I've got a great rifle here from France in World War II, dropped once, never fired.
Right. That's right. Oh. That's what they're known for.
Yeah. Up. I've got to get this one up here. I got a clip here from our friend Richard Dolan. Let me go ahead and get this one up. Am I in Brave?
Oh, yeah,
I'm in Brave.
All of the activity.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and play this little clip of Richard Dolan talking about evidence and testimony pointing towards a presence that seems to be studying us far more closely than most people realize. Here we go.
I do believe realistically that when I look at the sum total of all of the activity, there's someone here. They're not us. I believe that there's an active, highly sophisticated intelligence that is operating in our world, and they've got a lot going on. They do not wish to communicate with us on a regular basis. They've got their own thing going on. They are aware that we are aware of them, all of that. Like they see us seeing them, we see them seeing us seeing them. Like all of that happens. We're all doing this little dance and pretending that, none of it's real. But
it's like, come on, you motherfucker, show yourselves. Fuck you.
I definitely have theories about that. Like aliens. Let's be real. It's a very interesting subject. Whether people think aliens on Earth are real or not.
Hold on.
It's fascinating. And it's a rabbit hole that's just, I've never escaped it now for over 30 years.
Well, there you go. Interesting conversation. They're watching us more than we're watching them. I think that makes sense because I think the majority of the public out there, Mike, is not paying attention.
That's true. Yeah. They're definitely paying more attention to us than we are of them at the moment.
Well, this is one of the things I wanted to go ahead and cover. Sorry, I didn't cover it earlier. This is the last story of tonight. The Southern Oscillation Index plunge triggers a big winter storm signal alert. What are we talking about? Coming to us from our friends over at Zero Hedge. Yeah, they're kind of goofy, but they do cover a lot of really interesting news topics at times that they are completely on target with. They were the first ones who actually covered COVID coming from Wuhan lab and being tied in with the NIH. So let me just find a picture and get it up. So what does this chart mean? I'll bring this up in one particular second. Oh, where'd it go? One second, where'd it go? Go back to here. All right, I got it. So folks across the Mid-Atlantic, United Kingdom especially in Washington, D.C., Baltimore area, and Metro, New York, etc., woke up to a rare winter scene this morning up in Washington and Baltimore. A few inches of snow on the ground with a solid cold pattern locked in through the middle of the month. This is an early season snow. This is something the region hasn't seen for many years. That's been going on in Chicago. My God, it's been like -3 degrees at night. It's been crazy and lots of snow, which is not characteristic for this time. Now, with below normal temperatures forecast across the Mid-Atlantic for at least to the mid-month, potentially extending into the third week of December. Meteorologist Mark Maravich wrote on X that alarm bells are going off that is signal to a potential winter storm threat for the region, which could be a few weeks away. Now, he also pointed to a southern sudden plunge in the Southern Oscillation Index, also known as SOI, which measures the sea level pressure difference between Tahiti and Darwin, Australia. Such a drop usually signals a shift from La Nina-like conditions, which has positive SOI values, towards a neutral or even El Nino conditions. So as we're getting La Nina in the Pacific, they are getting El Nino in the Atlantic. Now, the transitions weaken the trade winds across the Pacific. It warms sea surface temperatures in the central and eastern Pacific and disrupts the Walker circulation, leading to widespread global weather anomalies. So it sounds like the Atlantic is actually fighting against the Pacific and warming things up. Only one such anomaly may occur at a 2 to 3 week lag, is the increased risk of major winter storms or polar vortex disruptions in the eastern U.S., Mike. You know what that means is, as you've been fighting the cold they've been fighting the cold in the Chicago, Indiana, Wisconsin area.
It's heading my way.
It's heading your way, my friend. And you'll be getting this throughout, towards the mid to end of December into January. So should be interesting to see where it's going to go, my friend. So far for the drop, the highest winter storm threat on the eastern United States is roughly from December 18th. You're going to be fucked through January 10th. Peaking in late December to early January. So Christmas could be extremely wintry this year.
Yeah. Not good.
No.
We'll get through it.
Not good, my friend. And on that note, I want to thank everybody for coming out to this episode of Disclosure Tonight. I don't have my sound effects up and going right now. Thank you for all your wonderful love and support and your super chats that we got our way from the audience. The audience has had a lot of great things to say in the chat. We appreciate that. Our super chats we got on today came from Shelley Montgomery. Thank you very much, Shelley. And also from Laura Campbell. Thank you, Laura. We appreciate your love and support for everything we do here. I want to thank for the people coming and saying a lot tonight. Andy, thank you very much. I also want to thank not Kyle. My mind just lost it. Jay Anderson. Jay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hey, Albertson. Yeah, not enough coffee. On that note, I want to thank you for coming out tonight, Mike.
Oh, always a pleasure, Thomas.
Yeah.
You know that.
And as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure Tonight, eyes open, no fear, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Good night, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.